Do you have any questions, or can we end the meeting?
Yeah, I have no question. Last question, that what brings that band in this conversation? What was my conversation?
Well, approximately, I think in all the 4 areas, I would give you a band score. Hi, Indrajit.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine. And how are you, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. So today we are going to have a mock speaking test.
Yes, ma'am.
IELTS format. Good evening. My name is Chitra Velayud. May I know your full name, please?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. My name is Indrajit Vishwas. You can call me Indrajit or Indro.
Thank you. And where are you from, Indrajit?
I am from Kolkata, city of joy and capital of West Bengal.
Thank you. May I see your identification, please?
Yes, ma'am. This is my passport.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So in this part of the test, I'll be asking you some questions about yourself. Do you work or study?
I study in an engineering college. I'm an engineering student and currently last year.
What do you like about your studies? What do you enjoy about your studies?
I like my study because of practical field. I use my brain into my practical ways, and also I love electronics, gadgets. So that's why I chose this stream for my further study.
And what do you find challenging about your studies? What is difficult about it?
Sometimes I feel that is more challenging and more difficult to me to code. Sometimes it doesn't end with well. So that's why I try to find more and more coding problems so that I will be expert in this field.
Thank you. So now let's move on to talk about laughter.
Laughter, wow.
Laughter. Are you the kind of person who makes your friends laugh?
Yes, I try because I love laughter persons and also being laughter.
And when was the last time you laughed a lot?
It was not my birthday, it was my friend's birthday, and that was, we made him surprised to this, and there was an fun incident regarding this, so that's why we laughed a lot, especially me.
Do you like to make people laugh?
Yes, I love to make people laugh.
Why?
Because I think that laughter is a great medicine, and nowadays depression or something, committing suicide is becomes a trend. For getting depression, you have to commit suicide. So that's why I think that laughter is the best medicine in this world right now, and that's why I love to make people laugh.
So now let's move on to talk about breaks. How often do you take a break?
Sorry, ma'am, I cannot hear you properly.
How often do you take a break in the middle of your work?
Actually, I love to take breaks a lot, but sometimes it cannot happen, but sometimes I can manage. And so I take during a day in my working time or in my study time, 2 to 3 minutes in a break within 1 hour.
Thank you. What do you usually do during a break?
I usually eat, and also I put my water bottle in my study room because I forgot to drink. So that's why I drink sometimes. And also sometimes I love to eat snacks, especially. So that's why during break, I try to eat.
And do you prefer to take a long break or several short breaks?
I always prefer several short breaks because it makes me happy. It makes my mood happy.
Thank you. And now let's move on to the last topic, which is water sports.
Okay, what's
You like water sports?
water sports means? Could you please elaborate this question, please, for me?
Like swimming or
Oh, yeah, I like
scuba diving?
yeah, I I had a wish to do scuba diving in my future, and also I love water plays because I can swim. So I love swimming, and swimming is really good for health.
Which water sport would you like to learn or would you like to do in the future?
That is scuba diving. I mentioned it because it is so adventurous and it is very spine chilling for me, and I always wanted to do this thing so that in future, if I have a chance to do scuba diving, then I will definitely grab that opportunity.
Thank you. So now let's move on to the next part of the test. In the second part, I'll be giving you a topic and you have to speak about the topic for 1.5 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Before you speak, you will get 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. You can make some notes if you wish.
Okay, ma'am.
You understand?
Yes.
So here is some paper and pencil. In a real face-to-face test,
Yeah.
I'll be paper and pencil.
Yeah, I'm ready with that.
Also your topic. So here's your topic. Yes. Can you see the topic, Indrajit?
Yes, I'm able to see this.
So now you have 1 minute to prepare.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this. So don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when your time is up.
Okay.
Can you start speaking now, please?
Yes, ma'am. That is still I remember when my father advised that the very important lesson for me in the life, that is time management. So time management is very crucial for me, and I think for all of us, because when one day he noticed that I used to rise late, and I used to go to the school late, within time but late. So he noticed and he advised that you should be punctual to your time, because this is the most important weapon that you can use in your daily life to improve your quality, improve your health, as well as improve. You have to add value to your time. Then you can be free. If you do everything in orders, then in time, and then you will be more free, and also you will be disciplined, and discipline is the most important thing, as well as time management. So my father advised me to be punctual, and punctuality is nowadays it really helps me a lot to be punctual, and I use it, and always I advise also to my friends to be punctual, because it really helps me to manage all the time, manage all the work in orders. And
thank you.
So that's why. Okay, ma'am.
So now let's move on to the third part of the test.
Okay.
You were talking about a piece of good advice that you received at some point in your life. And in the next part, we'll be talking about a similar topic, but in a more general way. So I'll be asking you some more general questions about the topic.
Yes, ma'am.
So firstly, let's talk about advice given by friends and family. Is it better to get advice from a friend or a family member?
I think, in my opinion, uh, it is better to get advice from friend, because something we can share with my parents and something we can share with my friends easily. So something that is very easy for me. So that's why some advice can be taken from friends. That will be really helpful for me.
And what kinds of advice do friends usually give each other?
Actually, I think that most of the time, uh, in my opinion, most of the time I spend with my friends, because I stayed in hostel. So that's why they can understand me very well. Because, and also, in a week, only one day that will be allotted for the guardians for visiting us. So that's why, in my opinion, in my case, the friends can watch you and also can give you some advice for betterment. And also, good friends, you should need good friends.
So that brings me to the next question. Do you think young people should follow their parents' advice all the time?
Sorry, ma'am, I could not understand because of
Do
network.
do you think youngsters or young people should follow their parents' advice all the time?
Uh, no, actually, sometimes you need to be raised, you need to be normal. Sometimes you need to be motivated. You can't stay always motivated, you can't stay always punctual. But sometimes you need to relax. And so that's why young people like my friends, they are on the same page like
Okay.
me, so they can understand me very well.
So you think
Okay.
sometimes friends' advice is better than advice given by parents?
Parents, yeah, I think so.
What would you say are the characteristics of a good advisor?
What uh, I'm
What are
so
the
sorry, ma'am.
characteristics? How would you describe a person who gives good advice? How do they give the advice?
Yes, I noticed that some people, some of my friends are very what they are doing in a good way, they are suggesting that way to me. So I think that they utilize their advice in their life. So that's why they suggest me to do that, to do this, to not to do this, not to do that. So that's why I think that those, for this reason, those can be very useful and helpful for me.
So they base their advice on their own experience. They practice what they preach, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Who do students usually approach when they need advice about their studies or about going for higher education? Nowadays, who do you think students usually go to when they want some study related advice?
I'm Hello, ma'am.
I repeat the question, Indrajit.
Yeah, please.
Who do students usually go to nowadays when they want some advice related to their studies, like what subject to study in college, or which country, if they want to go abroad, where they should go for their higher education? Who do they usually go to?
uh, in this case, I think that someone who has interest in something, then she or he needs to choose that subject for further study. That will be very helpful for them. Otherwise, if someone is very stuck between choosing this subject or that subject, then they can discuss with their parents, and so that will be very helpful
So
for them.
nowadays, you think students usually go to the parents for advice about these things, or do they go to their teachers or someone else?
Um,
If they want some advice, when they want some advice about their studies, do students nowadays go to their parents or their classmates, their teachers? Who do they ask?
uh, they can ask their private tutors or they can ask their school tutors, then they can also discuss with their parents,
Right.
and also to see the opportunity in
Yes.
this era, so they can choose according to that.
Yes. And what about professionals, working people, when they have to take an important decision in their job? Do you think it's better that they take their own decision without asking anyone, or should they ask for advice? What do you feel?
I feel that in profession or in a serious situation, you have to discuss with your mentor or with your uh, colleagues, good colleagues, and also you have to then accordingly that you can consider it, because otherwise I think that teamwork is very important for any project or in the profession field. So you have to discuss with your mentors,
Maybe your team
or
leader,
with your boss.
or your manager, your boss.
Yeah, managers.
It's always better to take advice, professional advice from them.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. So thank you very much, Indrajit. That's the end of the speaking test. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well done. You did well. How do you feel after the test?
I feel really happy because after getting some positive feedbacks from you, ma'am, and you are so friendly. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. So was it, what was the difficulty level? How was part 1, part 2, and part 3? Which part did you find more comfortable or easier to speak?
More comfortable. Actually, I watch most of the IELTS test, and I love the third part because
Right.
I can think about it, and also I can. It is not like a what is your name? My name is this. It is not like that. You can think about that, and you can immerse yourself into this field. So that's why I love that, because I have to watch those videos, and also I love this kind of discussion in English. So that's why I love the third part. But third part is really difficult for me.
It is the most difficult part of the test, but if you practice well earlier, if you practice before you go for the test with IELTS topics, I think you will gain more confidence. And you did well. You answered well. No worries. As you said, it's an interesting part of the test because you are free to express your own opinions. You can freely express your opinions, right? Whatever the topic we are discussing. Right. Let me share some feedback with you about the test, so that you can work on your strengths as well as areas of improvement. So basically, the IELTS is assessed in 4 areas. The first area is fluency and coherence. So that means how well you are able to keep talking without too much hesitation or pause. That is fluency. And the second one is coherence, how well structured your speeches, right? And the second area is lexical resource, which is nothing but vocabulary. If you're using a good range of vocabulary. The third area is grammar. So the range of grammatical structures you use and also the accuracy of the structures. And finally, the fourth part is pronunciation. I think you may already know about these 4 parts. So in fluency and coherence, I felt fluency, you are quite fluent. You are able to speak quite well about all the topics in all the 3 parts. So your final band score will depend on all the 3 parts together, not only on part 1 or part 3, but all 3 parts of the test are assessed equally. So 25% for each part. So fluency, you're a fairly fluent speaker, no problem. Coherence, I feel if you practice with the IELTS topics, you will be able to, coherence means how you arrange your ideas, right? So that part you will be able to improve a bit more if you practice speaking. So not just watching videos is good. So when you watch videos, take down the topics, which down the questions, the common questions, the popular questions, and try to practice with those questions and those topics by yourself. Either you can practice by yourself or you can ask your friend to ask you the questions like we are doing now, and you can have a mock speaking test, right?
Yes.
So that will help you to improve the way you arrange your ideas, so that it will come out very, in a well-structured way, with a lot of connecting words. All the parts of your speech should be connected, right, when you speak about a topic. So that's one area of improvement. Lexical resource, your vocabulary, you have an adequate vocabulary to talk about all the topics that we discussed. So it's a good range of vocabulary, but you can improve still more. But to get a higher band, you need to have a wide range of vocabulary, right? So try to start a book, a vocabulary book, an IELTS vocabulary book, where you write down good words related to the various IELTS topics and try to use those words. And also try to use a couple of idioms, right? I think you did. I think you said laughter is the best medicine. So that was a very good, proverb that you used. So similarly, try to use a few more idioms in your speech, right? Idiomatic expressions. Absolutely, that's it. And as far as grammar is concerned, I think that could be your area of improvement, main area of improvement. Though I could understand everything you said, and you used a good mix of simple and complex structures. In some sentences, the grammar, the grammatical structures can be improved, right? So I think the best way is, number one, by listening to good English on YouTube, or you can also watch the IELTS videos maybe, right? Or watching good films. If you're interested in films, you can watch good by listening. And secondly, maybe you can approach a tutor, and so you can practice speaking and have that person. It can be either a tutor or a person who's very good in English, who can give you feedback, and that will help you to improve. Because that is important for grammar. It's important that someone tells you which sentences you need to improve. So for example, you said we made him, so I haven't written the whole sentence. So I haven't written the whole sentence here, but we made him surprised. I forgot to drink it. When you're saying that, you said, I keep some water on my table, and instead of, usually when we are talking about a habit, we use the present simple tense. I always forget to drink. I think you said, I forgot to drink. I forgot to drink. You use the past tense. So things like that, when someone tells you, then okay, oh yes, so that I have to correct next time. You realize it. So it's good to get feedback on that. Pronunciation, I could understand everything you said, but in IELTS, to get a higher score, you need to practice the intonation also, the intonation and rhythm of English, the rise and fall of your voice when you speak in English. So for that, again, good practice is listening to English, speaking in English as much as possible. As you're listening, you can try to repeat the sentences along with the speaker. So say you're listening to a video, try to bring up the transcript. You have the lines coming up, right?
Subtitles,
subtitles. So be sure you turn those on. So the first time you can listen without subtitles, you can listen. Second time, you can try to speak along with the person using the subtitles, trying to imitate their rhythm, trying to imitate their intonation. So this is also good practice for improving your intonation and rhythm. Okay. So these are basically your areas of improvement, Indrajit, and what you did well. So you're a fluent speaker and you spoke well about all the topics. So congratulations for that. And you just work a little more to improve whatever things I told you about. And definitely, I'm sure you'll get a very good band score in IELTS. All the best to you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much. It was really nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too. Do you have any questions, or can we end the meeting?
Yeah, I have no question. So last question, what brings that band in this conversation? What was my conversation?
Well, approximately, I think in all the 4 areas, I would give you a band score of 6.
Okay, 6. Okay, then I have to improve.
I think you need a 7. Do you need what is your required band score?
I need 7.
7, yeah. So You can absolutely achieve that. I think if you work in all the areas which I told you about, this is only a very approximate score. It's not, it's not, the final score or something.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, I'm sure that you can improve and
Yes,
get
yes.
your desired band score, 7 band score.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best.
Yeah.
All the best to you.
Thank you.